Your mindset only makes the 2% of your income ceiling, and the rest of your income ceiling is in your body. Your body holds the lock to your nervous system, and it runs your show on autopilot. It doesn't even consult with the mind, because by the time you're 35 years old, all the thought patterns, experiences, feelings, emotions that you have lived when it comes to money are now stored in your body, and your body runs the show on autopilot. So after doing 500 one-to-one calls with entrepreneurs across the globe from different regions, from different backgrounds, I started to identify a pattern that when they shifted two things, right, their income just exploded. And not only that, I used the same pattern for myself and my clients repeatedly over the years to receive our annual income every month, to create illogical cash months, to create overflow, to manifest bottomless bank account. And these are the principles behind me manifesting a 22-room mansion in Greater London while I was living in one-bedroom flat. There is something really powerful because this work doesn't just cover mindset. It also covers your nervous system, your body, your conscious mind. It works across your whole being. It's about shifting you or not just your mind. What we identify is that any idea, any thought that you hold in your mind, if you live with it for a while, starts to become your identity and it's stored in your body. It becomes who you are. When you use the mindset tools to shift that, you can shift your vibration for a second, for 2 minutes, for 15 minutes, for 20 minutes, for half an hour, but it won't bring that permanent shift. That's why I genuinely believe that mindset coaches who are teaching you mindset, they should have this in their terms and conditions, that this shift is only going to be temporary, because the permanent shift comes when you shift your body, when you shift how you see yourself, and when you go across your mind, your body, your nervous system, your subconscious, all of that. So your subconscious mind and your nervous system makes up a success mechanism. This success mechanism is your internal operating system. It's your wiring, which is constantly shooting to a target. A drug addict who is not probably living the life that a lot of people aspire to live also has got a target. The only problem is his target is, or his or her target is to be addicted to drugs, right? Every single one of us are rewired in our body and in our mind and in our nervous system to shoot towards a target. And when it comes to your income, you are wired to shoot to a number, which makes up your income ceiling. And what I'm really excited to share with you are the 2 steps how to really cultivate a rich identity where even if you don't change what you're doing, even if you don't change your strategy, even if you don't do all these tweaks, you just attract because it becomes who you are. You start to see yourself rich. When I do my one-to-one calls with my clients, I ask them this question. I say to them, do you identify yourself as rich right now? Are you rich right now? And a lot of times there is a bit of a silence and pause. They're having this breakthrough that yes, I don't see myself rich. I'm trying. Although my income is good, I have the abundance. I can go on holidays. I can spend money. I can enjoy the freedom. But I don't identify myself as rich. And that very moment they have this breakthrough that they are attached to the identity of middle class. And they're trying so hard. They're hustling their way to being rich. The first thing is, are you rich? And if you are not, then why not? Then we go to the second step, because how you feel about yourself has a deeper layer. How you see yourself has a deeper layer. Why is it that you are not rich? And then we start really uncover that most people are operating towards just enough identity, just enough. They work just enough, or they attract money just enough so that it's enough to pay bills. Like this survival mentality that as long as there is enough to cover everything, subconsciously they stop, they put that lock, right? It's never about having more money, having more than enough, having more than you know what to do with. I remember when I started talking about this quite a while ago, that having more money in your bank account than you know what to do with. And somebody in my audience came up to me, messaged me and said, "How can you say that? It's not possible. How can you teach people that? How can you talk about this? You are telling people something that's not possible." And that's where she revealed her survival identity to me, that we aim for just enough. As long as I have just enough to pay for things that I want, that I need, it's enough. But nobody's really crossing the boundary to what about having more than enough? What about you have so much money sitting in your bank account and you're like, I don't know what to do with it. It's just there, right? So you are shooting towards just enough. And even if your needs and wants are met, it's just enough, right? And then when it comes to just enough, it's still, there is this barrier to really experiencing the richness that you desire. Now, if we go even deeper, right? If we go even deeper and start to look, where is this just enough coming from? This just enough is coming from seeing our parents having just enough, them fearing every time they're making a transaction that money's going to run out, even if that wasn't true, if that never happened, right? Or constantly thinking about that we are surviving, we are still surviving, we are still from the middle class who are just surviving to make sure that the survival is covered, right? And then really looking at what if we start to let money overflow and not have this subconscious pause when it's just enough, it's covering everything? What if we feel guilty of having more than enough? What if we think it's going to make us evil, or somebody's going to do something to us if we don't have not enough? The key with uncovering your identity, your current just enough middle class identity, is to really observe yourself and observe your patterns and observe what you are thinking and observe when are you pausing? When do you actually stop selling? When do you actually say, you know what, I'm covered for the month, I'll be okay, let's just stop? When is it? And the biggest way it also shows up is that, let's say you have a really big cash month, you had a really highest month, right? And then you're saying, oh my God, now something bad is going to happen. Maybe I cannot do it again. How I'm going to make sure I do it again? That way your income ceiling, your nervous system is pausing that. It's controlling it. It's stopping it. What you start to do is you start to observe yourself. You come out of your body, out of your consciousness, and you start to look at yourself and observe your patterns, observe your thinking, and observe your reactions, and observe how you're selling. Observe how you feel when you double your prices. Observe how you expect, what you expect from your clients. Do you find yourself justifying your prices? I was having this one-to-one call with somebody yesterday, and she was saying to me, I charge this much, and it wasn't a lot, really. It wasn't a lot at all. But she was saying to me, I charge this because I put in so much effort, and when I do this for people, I'm exhausted. I am beyond exhausted. I just collapse. And she was just trying to tell me that this is the reason that I'm putting so much and I'm working so hard, that I'm justifying it to myself that I can charge more. And I said to her, I didn't ask you for justification. Who are you justifying it to? She was justifying it to herself. Every time she's charging, which is more, a little bit more than just enough, she needs justification, which is working so hard and collapsing and depleting. Right? You start to observe your patterns. You can even start to connect with your body and see how it feels in different times of the day. Do you feel sensation in your heart where you're telling yourself, I don't love myself enough? Why do you believe you have to work so hard and sacrifice? The reason is because you don't love yourself enough. Charging more, charging what you really want to charge, is an act of self-love. I love myself. I love my time. I value being luxurious. I value experiencing ease and flow because I love myself. And the person who will pay you that will also love themselves because they feel I'm worthy. When you come from the place of self-love, and you charge those prices, you attract people who love themselves to invest that in themselves. So two people who are deeply in love with themselves create value, have an energetic exchange. right? You start to really observe where this is coming from, where this fear is coming from, where this pattern is coming from. What is my body telling me? Do I feel a sensation under my belly button? I feel very disoriented. Do I feel the sensation under my belly button, in my sacral, and I'm constantly questioning if I won't mess it up, if I've got what it takes to create, if I have got what it takes to really, if I feel I have the self-worth, I am worthy to receive, I'm worthy to exchange, I'm worthy to create value, right? You'd really uncover your identity. And in my programs, there is a really powerful framework which has been designed after years and years of working with thousands of people, where we really uncover, you really diagnose your identity at your subconscious, at your subconscious, at your conscious, at your body level, all three levels. And it starts to uncover so beautifully, the identity diagnosis method. Once you have done the awareness work, the second shift that you have is you ask yourself, if I'm putting these things down, if I'm releasing that, if this doesn't belong to me, this is not my truth, right? Who am I? And you start to redesign your most abundant self. That is the second shift. The redesign equation. After identity diagnosis, we do redesign equation, where what you do is you say, okay, what is my most abundant self? How can I feel rich today? How can I see myself rich today? How can I talk like my most abundant self? How can I stop justifying receiving or spending? It is in your patterns. I was having this one-to-one call with my client, the first one-to-one, and I was really holding a space for her where she could uncover her identity. And you know what she was doing? She was being ashamed that she was taking up space. You know what she was doing? She was trying to accelerate the whole thing so that it doesn't take that long, because she didn't believe she's worthy for me to hold the space for her so that she can uncover her identity, right? It's about seeing your patterns where you are not reclaiming your birthright, where you're not reclaiming what is already yours. How can you start being your most abundant self? How do you feel when you increase your prices? How would you show up if you could value? Look, when we talk about 10x your income, 20x your income, 100x, or whatever the claims are in the online space, what you want to understand is there is an identity which backs it up. If the identity doesn't back it up, the strategy will fall flat. It will collapse. The question is, what is the 10x version of your identity? What is the 100x identity that you can have? Because once you have that, you will attract the strategy and it will all work together. But when you are not showing up as the 10x version of your identity or the 100x, what's going to happen? The strategy will fall flat because it was designed for 10x. There is nothing to, the nervous system is not ready to hold it. Even when you might say the templates, you might say the things that you are told to do, but there's no energy behind it. And the energy is 92%, which is underpinned by your identity. If you 10x your identity today, how would you show up? How would you see yourself? How the rich version of you would walk, would show up, would talk? How would they sell? Would they justify their prices? Would they see the true value that they are creating? Would they normalize receiving big amount of cash? It's normal. I remember normalizing getting paid and seeing getting paid when I'm sleeping and seeing the notifications when I wake up. And now, as it's my normal state of being, it's just normal. I don't feel entitled. I don't feel like, oh, I'm not doing enough to be able to receive that. I'm not worthy, because I know I create value. I see my value. And we are world class at discounting our own values, discounting the value that we create. What if you say, whatever I create is a masterpiece? And then you back it up with the identity that whenever you are doing something, it's not about doing so many things. Like Wallace D. Wallace says in The Science of Getting Rich, it's about doing things in a certain way with a certain identity. When you are writing something, when you're creating something, when you're creating anything in your business, you are not saying, okay, I need to do 10 things. You're saying, I'm doing this as the greatest, truest, unapologetic, unfiltered expression of who I really am. My raw, my unfiltered, my most unapologetic masterpiece version. And when you have that frequency, a person that interacts with whatever you create will feel it. Will feel it. You can literally take two posts, right, with the same words. And one will make you feel completely different and the other one will make you feel completely different. It's not the words. It's a frequency that underpins. And the frequency and the identity underpins a frequency. Who are you when you do it? What is that version? Where is the fire? Where is that energy of masterpiece? The freaking masterpiece. You're not trying to operate as high vibe. You are a whole freaking vibe. Even when you're sad, even when you're not feeling as hyped up, you are still a masterpiece. It's the perfect imperfected sadness. It's the perfect imperfected flaw. The problem is not that you think you have flaws. The problem is that you think that they are actually flaws. They are your perfect imperfection. If you think that I'm not this, I haven't got the perfect body, I haven't got the perfect this, I'm not that intelligent enough, I'm not that smart enough, I'm not that well articulated person. What if you being a hot mess or your imperfect perfections are your edge, are your creative intelligence, and you own the hell out of them? And you start to say, you know what, I am rich now. A lot of times, in fact, so many times I see with my clients when they start the coaching with me, the first thing they say is, when I do this, I will. When I do this, I will. They're always in this trying energy. They never really cross the finish line because they don't see themselves rich today. But you are born rich now, right now. And all the things that you mean to make them about yourself, the problem is not them. The problem is the meaning that you're giving to them. The problem that how you see you now. You don't have to change anything about you. When you start to change the way you see you, you magnify, you glorify, you just accelerate and completely rise in a beautiful way. And you amplify who you really are instead of trying to be who you are not. If you are looking for that perfect template, that perfect model, that perfect thing that you'll say the strategy, look in the mirror and change the way you see you today. You are rich. You are a masterpiece. The value that you create, when you shift that, the frequency and the way and the approach and the energy that you will bring to things, it will take them to the masterpiece level. And that's what makes you rich, and you have it now. The rich frequency is within you because you're already that. The question that I really want you to ask yourself is, how am I so rich today? How everything that I've got is richness. And this one question changed so many lives. This one question has led me to go places, to manifest things, to have the experiences, to do anything that I desire more than anything else. Because the problem is not when you do that, the problem is how you see you now. It's all in the now. There is no future, there is no past. Everything is in the now. And how you see you now manifest everything to you. I have recorded a really powerful training to how you can do this, shifting your identity in 4 steps, which is called the Income Reset Masterclass. This is the perfect and most curated recipe to smash your income ceiling. And it will just take you 21 minutes to do that. The link is in the description. It's absolutely free for a very limited period of time. So access it, integrate, and smash your ceiling to your first or next million.